Thank you for joining us today for Sunday Conversations. Today, we begin a series titled Failure to Communicate, where we get some inside scoop of how different couples handle situations. Sit back, enjoy, and delight yourselves with these conversations. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Conversations. I am Minister Isaac, and today this will be our second show for couples of failure to communicate. So today we have a great couple, a young couple that agreed to come to Sunday Conversations to share the insights on how that they handle things. I'm excited that I get to share this platform with everybody because, as you know, that we try to always keep it lit on the platform. So let me introduce to some and reintroduce to others. Dan and Jennifer. What up?
What's going on?
How you guys doing?
All right.
Good.
Okay, so I know how to pronounce your name, but I don't want to mess it up again. So you want to tell everybody what's the proper way to pronounce your last name?
All right. So if you want to say it in English, it is Louis Don.
In English. Okay, so what is it?
Right?
Okay. If you want to say it in Haitian, it's Louis Don. If you want to say it in English,
Yeah.
she took that one. She took
Lewiston.
that one.
So your last name is a Haitian last name.
Yeah, Haitian background. Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. Never knew that. See, look, I just learned something that I never knew because I didn't know that you spoke Spanish until I heard you speaking Spanish to.
Yes, Haitian and Panamanian. So my mom's side was Panamanian.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, look, we're going to get into some questions here. I'm going to let you guys have the flow. I'll be in the background chilling, and all the questions that I got to ask, I will ask them. So y'all ready?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
So everybody, let's bring up Dan and hold on. Before we get to that point, let me ask this question. Okay, so where did you guys meet?
In church. Actually, in my grandparents' church. I was 8 and he was 11.
8 in which state?
In Jersey. Yes.
And where?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, Dan, are you originally from Jersey?
No, as you can probably tell by my accent, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So, that is where I'm originally from.
Okay, and Jen, I know that you are a military child, so you've been all over.
Yes.
Right, but where were you born at, Jen?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, all right, then. So I'm gonna get out the way. Gonna let y'all do y'all thing, and get ready. Here we go. Okay. So first question that is up on the block is, so you guys met in church. Okay, so how long have you guys been married?
Going on 7 years, October.
7 years in October. Okay, so I don't have to ask the next question because you just said it and you met in church. Okay, so what situation do you think was that was difficult that the other felt that it was easy?
Ooh. Situation that we thought was difficult, the other one felt easy. Go ahead. You got it?
There's a few that I can think of, but to be candid and honest, I would say going through what we've gone through to get to this point where we have our baby Kyle on the way, and I would say, because there's been situations where I've been in that she probably has in mind, but I would say that continually having faith in God, that we were going to have a baby. I've seen Jennifer going through from highs to lows in through the pregnancy, and just me having that faith, and she's admitted as well, to say, I'm believing in God for this child, no matter what it looks like, and it's coming to pass. So I would probably say it was easy for me. Though it's sometimes, I try not to, cry in front of her, you know what I mean? But not but always trusting in God through this particular situation. I would say probably was easier for me than it was for her.
Absolutely. As far as other people, there are people who have told me, like, I don't understand what the big deal is. And it's like, wow, you know, until you actually go through that storm of, okay, you have no control of your body. You're trying to make this happen. You're trusting in God. And literally, I would have to say this process right here was a true testimony of faith. I believe with jobs, you can write a resume, you can keep going to school. There's a lot of things in life you can do. You honestly cannot control your body at all, no matter how many vegetables, exercise. People told me, oh, just exercise, just do this. And yeah, that was a point in our relationship. He really carried the load as far as believing and keeping the faith. And yeah, it was a bit of a roller coaster.
You know, God is great, and
yeah.
I mean, He has a plan for everything. You know, and that's how I look at it. Like the situations that we were still in, and that she was in, especially with work, in relation to that. God, when you look at the bigger picture, it makes so much more sense that she had to be in a new work environment in order to be okay in this situation. So it was all God's plan. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so who has the best conflict management?
I would say her overall.
Yeah.
Overall.
I would say me overall.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, then share an example where Jen, that you had to use that conflict management, and Dan, I want you to give your perspective of how you were going through it and what you were feeling, and then Jen, I want you to give yours. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Example of conflict management. Even in my own family, before me and Dan got together, I'm pretty much the person that tries to bridge the gap. My belief is, especially when it comes to family, there's nothing too big to just write somebody off. You figure out how to work with them. Maybe there's certain boundaries you can't cross anymore. Maybe there's certain standards you have to set. But I deal with a lot of conflict when it comes to our families in particular. And so I'm the one that will call, reach out, make sure everybody is talking. Yeah, a lot of conflict management in that. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say I'm getting better.
Yeah.
You know, I think one thing with marriage, right? You got to look at, you know, how can you make each other better, or what can you pull from that other person to help you improve, especially when it comes to communication. And one thing with me, I've gotten a lot better at reaching out, because I've always been that. There's a Simpsons meme where like Homer is falling back into the tree line. That's been me forever. So I would say I do actively listen. And that's taught me to actively listen more than I speak. But in terms of the family thing, I'm getting better at dealing with conflict management and dealing with when it's complex, and especially in the family, dealing with that. And she's taught me a lot just in how she deals with it. Yeah.
Awesome. I gotta laugh when you say that, the Homer Simpson meme when he's backing back into the trees. Hey, that right there is funny. Like, let me get away from here. That's awesome. Okay. Share an example of where that each of you had a complete different experience that led to an argument because both of you had different approaches.
Ooh, I would say every time. And it's amazing. There's always, for us, one thing that we always have a different approach to, and that is Ryan.
Yeah.
That is Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you saying that because of your different parenting styles?
Yeah. We have totally different parents.
Okay, I did. Okay, so then expound on that one then.
Okay, this morning, Dan's doing math with him, and I see he's getting flustered, And I'm trying to chime in and say, hey, Dan, you know, yep, I'm bringing up another meme. You ever see the parent that they said, what's 5 times 5?
Yes.
And the child says, I don't know. And the parent voice raises and says, what's 5 times 5? And it's like, that doesn't make me comprehend it any better. But definitely our parenting styles are different. Dan is more, I don't want to say strict. He's direct. He's very, he challenges Ryan. I have to admit, sometimes I'm a little easier going. I'm the typical boy mom at times, where I'm like, okay, he's getting a little frustrated, so let's pull back. And Dan's like, that's how he's learned everything else that he knows. And it's a lot for me to sometimes pull back and not coddle him. And I think Dan can agree vice versa. It's a lot for him to tone down and not frustrate him. So we work daily on trying to merge.
When our first argument was over Ryan,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, like, and unfortunately, yeah, personally, well, yeah, matter of the fact that she could sleep through a tornado or even a hurricane or even a nuclear reactive bomb going off. We hit her stomach, she could sleep through that.
Yeah.
So, you know, God bless her, 18 years plus in the military, she's been able to survive, getting up early in the morning or not. I don't understand how. But anyway, so with that being said, I love making her laugh with side tangents. But anyway, you know, she knows I'm joking. So the thing is that, yeah, that was even our first argument. And we were able to get through that after we had some, it takes a village, right? It takes a village to raise these children, especially nowadays. And it's always been like that, but we definitely use that sentence and that wisdom wisely when they say it takes a village, and it really does. It really does. So, family watching, shout out to you guys. Thank you for assisting us through this, family and friends. You know what I mean? Because it definitely does. Yeah,
they're kind of like our balancing happy medium. They'll help us kind of reach that middle ground of, okay, take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. But yeah, I definitely have to say we are at the far spectrums of what we believe in parenting, our parenting styles.
Yes, I've experienced Dan's sternness. I never get the time that you were singing praise and worship and you had to sing it by yourself. And he was like, no, she can't talk. Yeah, so definitely. Okay. What's the hardest decision that you guys had to make?
Ooh, hardest decision. What do you think?
There's been a few. It's been a few.
Okay, so give me one. Give me one of the hardest decisions that you had to make.
I would say we were. I'm not going to give the full detail, but we were put in a situation where we had to stand up for each other, and this is right before we got married. We had to stand up, and it was kind of like an out of body experience where you're standing up to family or, you know, friends or whatever, and having that person's, like, it felt like, and I like using, you know, analogies and context, right? It felt like when the Power Rangers come together and they join together. So either they're, you know, merged together by arm or by hand or by weapon. And so literally we grabbed each other's hands, and the power of standing together in that situation, it felt like a moment in time where we had to literally hold hands and stand against that thing that was in front of us and make a decision together. And looking back, it seems like, you know, like, why were we even doing that? You know, but it's something that we can say, looking back, like, we had each other's back in that hard moment and that hard decision right before we were even married.
And to give more, I guess you could say, context to it, the very place where we met each other, joined us together, the decision was leaving that place. It's amazing. God puts things there for a season. He can use anything, any place, anyone. And so for us, it was the decision to leave the place where it all started. And really, this was all we've ever known.
Right.
And that was tough to say, okay, this is toxic, and it's going to be toxic for our relationship if we stay. And I truly believe, and I believe that Dan can agree, if we had stayed in that, I'm not going to say church, but stayed in that church, we probably would have never even got married.
Yeah.
So.
What would have been really difficult.
Oh,
difficult
yes.
Marriage where,
Yes.
Controls and vectors would have been in place, which, to me, I've grown a lot to where my no is no, and people are not used to people saying no, but I'll say no in a heartbeat.
So actually leaving that place and trusting God to take you to a better ministry, a better church, and saying, okay, this was just for a season, this was just for the beginning, but your final destination, this has nothing to do with your final destination.
Okay, awesome. I have a question concerning that. So, for the people that didn't know, Jennifer is the reason why that we did the series on church hurt.
Yes.
So is that where the church hurt came from?
Absolutely.
Share, please.
Oh my goodness. My heart goes out to people. I've had people say to me a lot, and it's funny because I understand exactly where they're coming from when they say, I don't go to church because church is filled with hypocrite. Church is filled with this. And I don't believe in religion. And I have to correct people and say, I don't believe in religion either. And they're like, well, how do you go to church? I'm like, well, I believe in relationship. There's a difference between following man's doctrine and stuff that man has made up and actually being taught how to be in a real relationship with God. And so I think a lot of the church hurt that people experience is because they're under doctrine that's not exactly biblical. Sometimes it's not biblical even at all, not even in the slightest. But yes, that was one of the stripes with church hurt that we actually didn't end up going to church, physically going to church for how long?
It was a minute.
Yeah, it was a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It was a minute before we actually could trust and actually be willing to open up and say, okay, God, that was man, but this is you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dan, so do you feel that that it was a challenge of your manhood, or was it a challenge of how you truly felt for your Jennifer?
Not really, because what I felt for Jennifer has been for a long time. You know what I mean? So in terms of standing up to not allow people to hurt her, that wasn't really a challenge. It was more of a me of standing up and kind of not, in the moment you don't think, oh yeah, she's looking at this and seeing that I'm defending her at all. I didn't look at it like that. I was thinking, you're trying to hurt her, so we got a problem. Yeah. Period. And that was it. I don't know how did you look at it?
I looked at it, and you have always, there's one thing I can say about Dan. Dan is very to himself. You won't hear him say anything. In fact, if you offend the man, you'll probably never know. He's one of those, he'll self-heal and forgive and move on with it, depending on the situations. Very few things you can do to get him rattled. I say that to say one of those few things you can do to get my husband rattled is offend me. And he has always had my back on sheer disrespect toward me. For me, I looked at it as, because of the situation that we were in with the people that we were in, because a lot of the church members were family, to see that somebody loved me enough to say, hey, this is mine. And if it means we have to go, we out. That did it for me. I was like, okay, you'll leave comfort over, how do you put that? Basically leave comfort to keep our marriage intact.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, and we, like, at that time, we didn't even, Ryan wasn't even here yet. It wasn't even thought of, So you think of legacy, right? You think of, how you want to do it different. You want to do marriage different. And that's been my thing. Like, I want to do it different. I want somebody I could vibe with, I could chill with, I can, relax with, be myself with, and then also her know that I'm defending her I'll tell her if she's wrong, I'll say it.
Yes.
But it's not like I'm saying it in front of other people. You're wrong in front of everybody, like making her feel small. You know what I mean? I'm defending her, in every moment that's offensive to her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something that I know she's wrong about, yeah, I'll pull her to the side, or you know what I mean? But she does that with me as well, So I think that's the difference. Is not, they say you don't put people on a pedestal. I mean, Jesus is on my pedestal. He's in my heart. He's my pedestal. However, my wife is definitely right there too. You know what I mean? She's
Gotcha.
She's right there, because if I put my all into her, she's made this house a home. She's, we got 2 children. You know what I mean? Like there was just a saying that I just saw the other day, right? You can give a woman a house, she'll make it into a home. You can give a woman a seed, she'll make that seed into a child. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like everything I've given, even when went into the military, to keep it short.
What's up? It's your boy, Mr. Ike. I'm back. Hey, thank you for watching Sunday Conversations. We had the Williams family, and this is such an awesome conversation. I hope that you learned something about them, and as well as learning something about them, I hope that you heard their heart, and I hope that the most important part, you saw how that they leaned on God and they trusted God through every situation. Hey, come back next week. We're gonna have a new couple up in here. I'm not going to say who it is. You got to come back and find out. Thank you for watching Sunday Conversations. I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching Sunday Conversations. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next week as we continue to bring you relevant content. Remember, God has a purpose and a plan for your life. Live life intentional.